You know what's always bugged me with this episode? They make a big deal that Owen can't save the old man's life because he can't breathe. And yet, in so many scenes, you can actually hear him breathing in. Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Kevin, I am a geek, you are watching Kevin the Geek, and we are back for another Torchwood review. This one is series 2, episode number 8, A Day in the Death. Now if you are new to the channel, please do like the video, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications, and please do also make sure you do properly stick around, because in November it is going to be the 60th anniversary for Doctor Who, and I've got lots of different plans kind of lined up, kind of all Doctor Who related. But if you do also have any of your own suggestions that you think would be really good for me to do to celebrate Doctor Who's 60th anniversary, then please let me know in the comments below. But today we're talking about A Day in the Death, and I have to get it out of the way straight away because it has bugged me. The last few reviews that I've been doing, both of Doctor Who and of Torchwood. Martha is wasted. She basically comes back in for 3 episodes in each of the 2 series. So 6 episodes in total. Half of those she does a good, or actually hasn't anything substantial to do, which was the Sontaran 2-parter story and the first of the 3 Torchwood episodes, Reset. The second 2 Torchwood episodes, which includes this one that I'm talking about today, and the Doctor's Daughter, she basically does nothing. And it's got to the point now that going through these reviews is that I'm actually pissed off, because I really, really like Martha. And basically in this one, she has a couple of moments where she kind of snaps back at Owen for kind of flirting with her, and does a little bit of medical jargon, and then right at the end of the episode, she kisses Jack when she's saying goodbye to all the team for a bit of a throwaway gag.
Well, everyone else has had a go.
So, yeah, that's all I want to say on the Martha situation. Like I said, it's just pissed me off. It really, really has. And I don't get pissed off very, very easily. So apologies for having to start with that. The rest of the episode, we obviously focus with Owen. Now, Owen has been a mixed character, as shown in this sort of kind of montage sequence that they do at the start of this episode, which I think is a nice way, in a way, of showing kind of how far that Owen has come. Because he has come quite a long way from the way that you saw him in the early episodes. This episode, it kind of regresses him in order to try to move him forward. And it is quite heartbreaking, I think, the scene where Owen, after he's now kind of finally come to terms with the fact he can't eat, he can't drink, he's not going to sleep again, he can't breathe, he can't shave, all this different kind of stuff that he's so used to and in a way has taken for granted, he just can't do it anymore. So he accepts it, and he almost like cleanses himself, cleanses his soul metaphorically by cleansing his flat. He opens up the fridge, he takes all the food out of there to throw it away, all the beauty products that he's got in his bathroom, even things like the toilet roll, because he can't go to the toilet anymore, all this kind of stuff. And that brings it home for not only Owen, but as an audience as well. Because it's one thing to say, oh yeah, I can't eat anymore, and to do a stupid gag in the last episode where you have to show him vomiting out beer by standing on his head. Whereas here you actually get to see the ramifications of it. This is Owen's life now. He can't do any of the stuff that he used to be able to do. And it depresses him. It really does. And the problem is, Owen has people around him who theoretically are supporting him. But they're actually not. None of them are actually truly supportive and helpful to Owen in this situation. You know, when you break it down, you start off with Jack, basically, and it's not even a suspension, which is what I've seen some people suggest that he's doing. He's not suspending him. No, he's saying, we're relieving you of your command. We're taking your security badge. We're taking your gun. You know, we're not allowing you to be our medical officer anymore. That job is going to Martha. All this stuff that is pretty much all that Owen has lived and breathed for the last 3 years is snatched away from him in an instant. And Jack's attitude towards him throughout this entirety of this episode is really cold.
We need to be certain you're okay.
Yeah, well, it almost sounds as if you care. Well done.
Until I'm confident you're fit for duty, Martha Jones will replace you as Torchwood's new medical officer.
She's doing all right out of this, isn't she?
She's worked out a series of tests and examinations.
What if I refuse?
You'll be confined to the cells. The tests will be done, and if the results show that you're a danger to the team, appropriate steps will be taken.
I don't like the way that Jack has handled this. But is it Jack's fault or is it the writing's fault, ultimately? You know, because you could argue that Jack is doing it to try to push Owen on and try to get him to come to terms with it on his own. But the problem is then, you know, you got to give him some semblance of normality. Okay, if you say, yes, there is some things that you can't do, but for example, still be a medical officer. You know, that is what he originally is. He is originally a doctor. That is what he trained in. He got a medical degree. So to snatch literally everything away from him, then he has to go home, which even, you know, Jack suggests it to him.
What exactly do I do when I get there?
Watch TV. Chill.
Jack, I'm dead. I'm permanently chilled. You know, you get to live forever. I get to die forever. It's funny, that.
So, you know, Jack takes everything away from him. Then he goes home and basically all he's got is to read or to watch telly or listen to a bit of music. The actual stuff that he's really passionate about, you know, having a beer, having something to eat, having a shag. He cannot do any of that anymore. And then, of course, Toshiko comes in, and again, she's trying to be nice about it. Obviously, Owen doesn't handle it very well. But the first thing that Toshiko does when she gets there is, do you mind if I eat? Because I'm starving. I mean, that is like walking into a zoo, walking into a lion enclosure where lions haven't eaten in a month and, you know, waving a steak in front of them. And then you're surprised when the lion bites your hand off. You know, and so Toshiko, she shouldn't be surprised that Owen reacts in the way that he does. You know, I think it is pretty understandable that he reacts in the manner that he does. The problem is then, you know, and again, you've obviously got more characters that do similar things. I'm not going to go into all of them. But, you know, Owen has just lost his purpose. And the pacing of this episode always feels a bit off for me. It feels quite rushed. Because you basically have the first 25 minutes of the episode getting to the point where Owen is now in the old man's house where they've got the alien artifact thing. So in 25 minutes, you've basically got Owen getting sacked, Owen cutting his hand open and realising that he is fragile, Owen getting told to go home, Owen having a bust up with Toshiko, running away, going into a river, and then they have to, they learn about this guy, they go through all this stuff, and then he has to break into that, all in 25 minutes. It does feel really, really rushed for me. And then the last sort of 20 minutes or so, which is basically when Owen is in the room and then all the stuff that happens afterwards, that feels so slow as a direct result. And I just, yeah, the whole balance of this episode just felt a bit off. The music is great in it. I love Owen's theme. But yeah, overall, it's a real mixed bag of an episode. I do like Maggie, I will say. It is a cliche, the whole, there's someone on a rooftop and someone goes up there, you think that they're going to, you know, jump off with them, and then they turn around, actually no, in actual fact I only came up here to stop you from jumping. That has been done a number of times in different shows and movies over the years, so it's kind of lost its impact, although I will say that the scene where you learn about Maggie and the death of her husband happening not only on their wedding day, but within like an hour of them getting married, and whilst they're probably on their way to the reception. And that whole scene, the visuals of it, is really jarring, and it is really impressive that they kind of went down that route and made it as graphic as it was. But yeah, this episode, it just, you know, I understand what they were going for with this episode, but for me, the emotional impact, bar a couple of minor scenes, it didn't land in the way that it probably was intended. Burn Gorman, though, playing Owen, gave an amazing performance. You have to give him credit for everything that he did in it. But yeah, it's one that I do often skip. But if I do watch it, I will usually skip to a couple of key scenes and skip the rest of it. I pretty much always skip all the whole stuff at the end with the man in the bed, up until the bit where Owen fails to be able to save him. So yeah, not the greatest fan of this episode. But we have had a couple of darker episodes. Next week, we're going back to something a little bit more light-hearted, you know, which is kind of needed after these 3 really, really dark episodes of Torchwood. It's going to be Something Borrowed, which is the wedding of Reese and Gwen. So make sure you stick around for that. Make sure you stick around tomorrow, where I do my latest Doctor Who review, which is The Unicorn and the Wasp, featuring Agatha Christie. You can check out all of my previous Doctor Who and Torchwood reviews, along with my various different rankings and reactions that I've done to both these series and a whole bunch of other stuff as well. Remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications, and please drop your comments down below. Let me know your thoughts of this episode. But for today, my name is Kevin. I am a geek, and you've been watching Kevin the Geek. Goodbye.